What's the best example of women not understanding a man's body that you've ever heard?
One of my exes got it in her head from Cosmopolitan magazine that if she squeezed my balls I'd make a funny noise. The noise I made was, "I think I'm gonna go home."
A coworker of mine was super disappointed that her partner didn't have an erection all the time that he thought she was attractive. Apparently she went to the bathroom and to get a drink and he wasn't hard when she came back. She was sad that she had to break up with him because he's lying to her about finding her attractive. I'd be in real trouble if I had an erection every time I found someone attractive. I'd also be 11.
I've got a cousin who lost one of his balls. One day over the years the conversation came up around my grandma and she says, "It's a shame. He'll only ever be able to have boys or girls, but not both once he has kids." The whole room went dead quiet until someone was like, "Excuse me." She says, "Because he only has one. He can only either have boys or girls." I don't know how long she believed this or even if we truly convinced her otherwise, but she was absolutely sure that one ball made boys, one made girls, and that was just how it all worked, and to this day that conversation stands out so vividly.
When I was a teenager, one of my friends had a sister about 3 years younger. One day, she asked him how big the stick he used was. Friend was confused, and she clarified, "When you beat off, how big is the stick you hit your penis with?" Edit, bunch of us sitting around, laughing at what we used to believe. That the sperm crawled across the bed while mum and dad were asleep, for example. Buddy says his sister Lucy thought we used actual sticks to beat off. We're all WTF, and he tells the story above. We all howl with laughter. And, no, she wasn't evangelical or sheltered at all, she was actually a nice kid, and Buddy let her know without, demonstrating what actually happens. That we need to reload between rounds.
Ask her, how do you think we reload? That poo would be contagious laughter.
At the age of 25 I had a one-night stand, and after I came she asked why it became flaccid again and thought I didn't want any more sex. I'm not sure what kind of power machine her ex was, but she thought that a man was always erect when he was aroused, even after ejaculation. Edit. I get some weird-ass comments about this.
A girl, had the same misconception due to my first BF being a teen and us never going past one, and my second being able to just keep going. My fiancé was very upset when I didn't understand, and thought that we could keep going, and he had to explain that it was physically uncomfortable for him to be touched after ejaculation. I was worried he had a health problem, and he had to then calmly give me sex ed.
The number of women who think that after I got a vasectomy meant I no longer had balls was very surprising.
You're fixed, like my dog, right?
XGF punched me in the balls playfully, and as I folded in pain, she asks, "It hurts when I punch you in the penis?"
No, it doesn't hurt, it's just a little bit of absolutely excruciating pain.
Thinking that erections are 100% controllable, voluntary.
Trying to explain random boners to my wife was extremely difficult.
That different men have different refractory periods, time required to recover, between orgasms. Some men require mere moments, others require several hours. But this young lady at a work event was convinced that if you couldn't get hard again within minutes you obviously weren't that into it. Another one I overheard in high school was, "If he comes a lot that means he really enjoyed it." While this could be true, it is not a guarantee by any margin.
Remember when I was in HS and overheard a group of girls in the corner of the room talking about one's boyfriend coming 15 times last night? I immediately laughed out loud and deadpan said to her, "Not possible." OFC the why not came and I joked he'd be dead. Obviously maybe it would be possible, but dear God, I know I would be a lifeless husk after that.
It shrinks?
I was in the pool.
I had to enlighten a female coworker once after she made a comment about guys not being able to pee unless we are hard. She was 35 at the time.
For a very long time a woman, assumed that men couldn't pee if you were hard. Edit, okay, so it seems most men, but not all, can pee when you're hard, but you prefer not to because it can be unpleasant and or take a lot of effort and or be difficult to aim. Till.
Speaking for myself, if I'm aroused I cannot pee even if I wanted to. However, there have been situations where I am hard and am able to pee. It's just a lot of force to do it. I'm older now, so I just pee when it goes away. Sometimes it simply just won't get up and it's not you.
I once worked with a girl who believed all the sperm that made daughters lived in one nut and all the sperm that made sons lived in the other nut, and that since my Bill lost a nut he could only have all boy children or all girl children, depending on which nut he lost. When I looked to my other coworker for support, she shrugged and she wasn't sure. Look it up.
Shot in the dark. They got this from Scrubs?
An ex thought that when we sit on the toilet, the penis just casually rests on the toilet seat, enjoying the view.
Women will never experience the horror that is having your penis scrp the underside of a public toilet bowl lid.
In college I was in a design class and somehow one of the girls got on the topic of erections and asked the nearby guys, myself included, how does the bone shrink when it goes back down? In utter confusion we asked, do you think the DK has a bone in it? She responded yes with a confused face and said, yeah, that's why they call it a boner, right?
I mean, it at least had some literary logic behind it.
One time my cousin and her friends had to use the bathroom for men since the female bathroom was undergoing repairs due to a busted pipe. One of her friends washed their hands in the urinal since she thought it was a fancy sink. Edit. And yes, to the people curious, she did use the urinal cake as a soap. That was what led her to use it in the first place.
Thanks for that visual thumbs up.
I've met multiple women in my adulthood that didn't realize men could sit to pee. Like they literally thought if you had to do both you'd stand there to pee, flush then sit and poop.
Do other guys poop without peeing? I have to pee every time. I've never just pooped.
My GF's female friend was amazed to hear that a man doesn't have to masturbate every day. She genuinely thought that a man cannot hold semen in for more than 4 days. She is 33 and had 3 long-term relationships.
Maybe her first boyfriend told that lie and then she told the second and third boyfriend that she knew of the fact and they went along with it because they thought it would result in more sex.
My DK is attached to my pelvis and is sensitive. Spit on or lube it up and stroke it like it's an organ and not a goddamn lawnmower that won't start.
In high school, I knew a girl who thought cum came out the whole time a guy had sex. Not pre-cum, but like a steady faucet.
She might have seen too much hentai.
I've always been gentle with every girl I was foreplaying with, unless I was asked to do other stuff, you know, the usual meme stuff that their clit ain't a button and so on. Oh day though I found a girl that wasn't aware that the thing I had between my legs was not a joystick of an arcade game. It hurt so bad I couldn't touch it with a bit of force for a couple of days. It really got me thinking though.
Part of sex ed should definitely be showing girls that the penis skin is attached, so yanking down too far is incredibly painful.
Every girl who treats my balls like a speed bag or produce they're checking for ripeness at the market while messing around.
Back in the 90s and early there were actually magazine articles in women's magazines suggesting it as erotic. No idea what they were thinking.
First girlfriend I ever had blew my DK like a birthday candle.
Honey, blow is just an expression, you gotta suck that thing.
Had something hilarious happen with an ex-GF. We were out for a birthday party and both of us got absolutely hammered. Come about 4 a.m. I get up to go to the toilet and my drunk self decides that the nearby bin in my room is the toilet. Girlfriend sees that I'm peeing everywhere so she gets up and helps me aim into the bin. Now here comes the strange part, while she's aiming she starts jerking my DK like it's a handjob. I hazily begin to remember this the next morning and we start talking about it with a laugh. Then I asked her why did she start jerking it. She said I thought you had to do a jerking motion to make the pee come out. Cue about an hour of me laugh crying about it.
Your girlfriend milked you.
When they're trying to get you hard by just shaking around your DK like a bird trying to get a worm out of a hole.
I once had someone just tickle my balls and go, coochie coochie coo, to get me hard. I was so annoyed when it worked though.
My girl wanted to watch me pee just to entertain herself. Apparently it's her first time to see a man take a piss. When I was done, I shaked it. Her eyes went wide and her jaw dropped. She asked, "Why are you doing that? Isn't that painful?" I laughed and did it again. She screamed, "STOOOPPP."
One time I was watching my BFP and asked if I could aim for him and he just goes, "Go for it," so I just aimed his DK, while he peed. He started laughing and I started laughing so I let go and he peed all over and was like, "Why do you let go?" And then we both started laughing more. Edit. I really can't wait to show my BF that my highest upvoted Reddit comment is about me holding his wang. Thank you for the silver also.
To be honest, you can never trust the stream. Men do not need to be aroused to get a boner. Morning wood and random salutes can happen regularly, and can be embarrassing for some guys. The worst can be the half-arsed, Just letting you know, I'm ready when you are chief, semi-boner that isn't enough to tuck into the waistband, so you end up trying to reposition via the pocket, but then realize you look like you're either looking for lost gold in the depths of your khakis, or playing with yourself. Leaving you to walk away, in excruciating embarrassment, silently cursing Dinkle in his half-salute.
Death grip hand jobs. Please don't squeeze the life out of it, it doesn't feel good. Pick up a can of soda. That's about as hard as you need to grip it.
Attended a Bible college, which meant 3 things. 1. A lot of my friends got married very young. 2. A lot of my friends had very little sex ed. 3. A lot of my friends had sex for the very first time on their wedding night. One of my friends married the daughter of some missionaries. The way he put it, the honeymoon was a pretty traumatic experience for his wife because she had often worked in the church nursery and had changed plenty of diapers, but it had honestly never occurred to this 20-year-old woman that the male sex organ would grow between toddlerhood and adulthood. She just assumed they stayed at their pre-puberty size and had to process a lot of new information before they were actually able to consummate their marriage. Edit. A similar story happened when another friend married a pastor's daughter. She at least understood how the birds and the bees worked, but she was still deeply conservative and not very comfortable with nudity. However, they took a cruise for their honeymoon and at some point my buddy ended up getting bit by a spider right on his sphincter. When they reported the bite to the ship's medical staff, they were told that they would need to send photos to a hospital on the mainland to make sure it wasn't going to turn into an emergency. So this buddy of mine got to mildly traumatize his new bride by having her take up close photos of his swollen butthole with her phone. He ended up being fine.
I'm sorry, but this is effing hilarious.
Oh, I remember this one. I used to work at this store and this guy came in asking for tampons for men. He came in and he was walking, not normally. Like he had just gotten kicked in the nuts or just had a vasectomy. If you know the walk, you know the walk. He was a regular. Nice guy. Knew him for years. He was really embarrassed by it. His GF was waiting in the car. I asked him to clarify. He said tampons for men. See, his junk had started bleeding and he freaked out. Told his GF. She told him it happened to everyone. She got hers when she was a teen and she was surprised it took him this long to get it. She told him everyone is shocked when it happens for the first time. Confused? So was I. I told the guy that men didn't get periods. We're not supposed to bleed down there. He told me his GF told him it was normal. That he should get a tampon and shove it up there. I told him it wasn't. Again, men don't get periods. It isn't normal, and if your DK is bleeding then you need to get to the hospital. He got confused and penguined back to his car. I saved that man from a fate worse than death.
How bad is sex education that causes them to think this way?
Don't know what to tell ya, but my sex ed from my parents was, always get consent. Always wear a condom and don't be ADK, and at school the only thing I remember was the teacher showing us a bunch of pictures of STDs and telling us that if we got pregnant it wouldn't be like Friends where Rachel would always be with her friends having fun and going to parties. Then again, I did space out for most of high school, so I can't put that on them. Although, I have always wondered whether she was always that ignorant or if she cheated on him, gave him an STD and covered it up. Dude was a goddamn idiot though.
When I was younger, like a kid, I always thought that penises were like magnets to vags. Woman facepalming light skin tone. I had only ever seen sexy moments on TV and movies, and it always seemed like they got a hard-on when a woman was sitting in their lap, so I thought it was like magnetized to it. I still cringe to this day. LMAO. Edited to say, thank you for the award. Officially my first ever Reddit award. Cold sweat smile.
Peeing in the toilet with a penis isn't as straightforward as it sounds. Angle, velocity, weird urethra shenanigans, drunk peeing, groggy peeing, peeing with boners, it's all very chaotic and messy.
That's why if I'm at home, I take the throne. The only time in my life I ever had a three-way was 2 women giving me a blowjob. To give some context, I was slightly intoxicated and had only met them about a week prior. The first went while I made out with the other. It was fantastic. Then they switched. The second had absolutely no clue what the F she was doing. She grabbed my balls super hard, then proceeded to suck my DK like it was a McDonald's milkshake and she couldn't get it go through the straw. It hurt so bad I went limp and couldn't get hard again. I blamed it on the alcohol, not wanting her to feel bad. Weeks later I heard through a mutual friend that they were making fun of me for going limp. That was the biggest excitement followed by disappointment I've ever experienced.
That's when you tell everyone what really happened. Good for you for trying to spare feelings, I guess, but she's an asshole for mocking you. Moral of the story. Enough with trying to spare feelings. It's not like girls owe our guys or F-ing taught in school how to give oral. If she's hurting you, F and tell her.
I once had an argument with someone about men getting RPD. She said it wasn't possible. I said it definitely is. We got into explicit details and it was at a public event. I was trying to educate her and not get angry, but I eventually gave up and we agreed to disagree. I also had a crush on her prior to this, and after that I wasn't into her anymore. Edit. For anyone curious, the argument was about erections not being possible without enjoying it. I told her a guy can be aroused against his will. She disagreed. Source. I'm a guy.
With that logic, if a chick is wet, she was enjoying it and it clearly isn't RP. 0/10 for logic.
My wife was surprised when I wasn't already hard one time when we were getting intimate and didn't really know what to do. I had to explain to her that foreplay works two ways and that a lack of wood doesn't mean I don't want sex. Edit. And now my most popular comment is about how I didn't get a boner. Because of course it is.
OMG this. My wife can be like, oh babe, you aren't even horny. What? Because I don't have wood? That's not how it works.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.